Good morning, everyone. Welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep. My name is Alpa Sharma, and this is our revision series for the last 6 months' important editorials. I hope I'm clearly audible and visible to everyone. Hi, Navya, Tanu, Asmita. Can you hear and see me clearly, everyone? Yeah. Good morning. Very good morning, everyone. Hi, Chani. Am I clearly visible and audible, everybody? Yeah, clearly visible and audible. All right, so I think the 4th class in the series of our revision for the last 6 months. Okay, so a few of you commented under my video that I should be taking more days into consideration since you don't have a lot of time left for CLAT to happen. But then, see, I'll tell you, it's practically inhuman and it's impossible for me to go through one entire month's newspapers and then sort out. And I don't take only Hindu. I have been taking important articles from the Indian Express, the Guardian, the Hindu, all 3 of the newspapers. So I cannot go through each article for an entire month. I will be sticking to it. I'm so sorry, but I cannot be taking more than 15 days articles. So if time does not permit, I'll try to take 2 of such classes per week instead of 1, but I'll be sticking to only and only 15 days. The 15 days that we are going to be covering up today has to be December 1st to December 15th. That's what we're going to be covering up today. Now, you guys have to give me a second, please. Yeah. Ma'am, it takes me 8 minutes to solve one question. One question or one passage? What are you saying? I didn't get it. Does it take you 8 minutes to solve one passage or one question? A second. Yeah, give me a second, please, everyone. Yes. Please give me a second. I have to fix something up. Guys, you'll have to give me a second, okay? I'm working on something. Need to fix something. One second. Something looks wrong here. Please give me a second, guys. Yeah, fine. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Passage plus question. Okay. Ma'am, have you taken the article, The Guardian's View on Social Media's Metaverse? I did. Yes, I did. I did that, Pragya. You can find that one. Okay. Now, everyone, let's get back to the class and let's have a look at the important articles. No, not the important articles. Let's first have a look at the important events that appeared from December 1st to December 15th. And then let's start discussing each article that's important and what are the articles that I expect you to read from these newspapers. So, what is wrong? Yeah. So the first, just a minute. Something's wrong, but my marker is just not working. Ma'am, would you recommend doing English section and CR section back to back in paper? I have no issues with that. If you are comfortable, you could do that. Okay. But technically, I would advise you not to do it because it's full of reading. Okay. So you have to break the monotony. So probably do mathematics in between or do GK in between. You could do that, but it completely is dependent on you, what you're comfortable with. The first one is the important topic from this tenure is recovery of GDP. So this was exactly before Omicron had hit us in January. So December first 2 weeks, we were on the verge of almost going back to our pre-pandemic GDP rates. And our GDP looked very, very good. Congratulations, we are at a 95-month high, highest of the last 95 months inflation rate today. Okay, so Our recovery of the GDP was on a good track. The trajectory was very, very good during this tenure, and many, many articles appeared on that we are almost about to reach the pre-pandemic levels of our GDP. So that's an important article. Okay, then next one. Okay, ma'am. Okay, guys, see, there are a lot of questions about passages and English and reasoning. And can I take these questions in the end? I'll take one of it now, and then I'll take the rest of them in the end. Okay, so I'll take Sidhan's question. Ma'am, I score 5 in some passages and then 2 and 3 in some passages. Please help. Sidhan, the only reason of your score being variable is that either the topics in the reading comprehensions aren't really comfortable ones that you aren't comfortable with, or the difficulty level of the passage is high. Because if the passage is easy, you of course will be able to score 5 on 5. But if the difficulty level is higher, you need to see what kind of questions you're getting wrong, what kind of passages you're uncomfortable with. And then you can start figuring out how to work on that. But we need to know exactly what the problem is. Is it a specific topic that I'm uncomfortable with? Is it a specific kind of question that I get wrong? Okay. Anushka, that shall be uploaded in 10 minutes. Okay. चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. एक last question. Pooja ka, ma'am, actually in passages I'm unable to read properly and I also understand but still not able to score. Even it's getting worse. Vocab. Okay, पहले मुझे ये ना close करना पड़ेगा. देखो बच्चे, look into my eyes and listen to me very, very carefully. The examination is close. You cannot afford to ruin all that you've put in. If you've put in effort, it will repay. If you haven't worked hard throughout the year, we cannot expect miracles to happen overnight. We still need to put in efforts. We just need to know where and how we need to work hard. Okay? Secondly, we need to trust ourselves that we have worked for 1 full year, 8 months, 6 months, whatever it is, and it is worth it. It's going to be repaying me. But if I get anxious, I'm going to be ruining everything. So I can't afford to get anxious or nervous. I have to trust myself that I have worked hard and it's going to repay me on the D-Day. But if you haven't worked hard, you are either fooling yourself or me. And you can't fool me because I'm not sitting for CLAT, neither am I the consortium. So if you haven't worked hard, you still have time. Figure out, you either were regular with my Hindu classes, you would know the methodology I recommend to go through the reading comprehensions. If you were not regular, I would still expect you to be regular so that you know. Abhi, if you ask me, बच्चे देखो, understand this. If you ask me, ma'am, how to improve reading comprehension? How do I address that in one line? I can't. कोई एक magic potion नहीं है कि हम glass में उसको मिला के and we'll gulp it down or reading comprehension. Voila, I'm the best at that. That cannot happen. I might be blunt here. Okay? So, आपको सिर्फ इतना करना है. Please be regular. जो classes हो रही हैं, उनसे regularly attend करो. Understand. Attend your paid classes regularly if you're a part of that. Okay? And understand how to develop, still you have time, how to develop that habit of getting reading comprehensions correct. I hope I was able to answer all your questions. Sidhan and Shriya, Pooja, Tanu, all of you. I hope it made sense to all of you. Okay? We just need to work harder. We just need to be focused. And, okay, that is all. If you have any more questions about reading comprehensions, can we please answer that towards the end of the class? I'll still give you 10 minutes. But uske liye aapko mehnat karni padegi. You'll have to stick with me till the end of the class. And that's what exactly happens. People who want a magic potion wouldn't stay till the end of the class. So if you are sticking with me till the end of the class, I'll give you good 10 minutes. That's a bounty for you. Let's move ahead. Let's see how many of you stay with me till the end. Recovery of GDP, I've already discussed that. Crypto asset conundrum, हमने last week भी ये discuss किया था because November में, in January it became important because of the new regulations that our country had bought. So, but before that in December, the crypto had already started creating a chaos throughout the world. And today I've pasted two articles where one article talks about the negatives of crypto asset conundrum, the other talks about positives. How can actually crypto assets be a positive point of view for an economy, for a person? So this article, I think a lot of you might have missed out on. We'll discuss this and I would expect you to read this at least. Then we had Allahabad High Court giving an error of judgment in POCSO. Do you remember that? याद है ये सबको? Video team, if you see any people talking amongst themselves, please block them. Do you remember what was the error of judgment by Allahabad High Court in the POCSO case? You remember that? याद है किसी को? कोई याद दिलाएगा मुझे? क्या केस था? So basically, penetrative sex has to be called, it would fall under the POCSO definition, skin to skin wala, exactly. And when it is oral and not penetrative, then it will not be falling under the POCSO Act and POCSO case. And if there is a skin to skin contact, only then you would fall under the POCSO cases. If there's a clothing that comes in between, it wouldn't. तो इसलिए ये इस पे एक आर्टिकल है, आई हैव पेस्टेड दैट, ये पढ़ लेना, इस पे आर्टिकल्स आ सकते हैं फ्रॉम वेरियस पर्सपेक्टिव्स. यू जस्ट नीड टू नो ये केस क्या था, बिकॉज इफ यू डोंट नो दैट, इस पे कोई भी आर्टिकल आ जाएगा, यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट. AFSPA was on its all time high during this. क्यों? ऑल्दो ये बहुत पुराना है, एक आर्टिकल पेस्ट किया मैंने that tells you exactly all about what AFSPA is. AFSPA क्यों वापस न्यूज में आया दिसंबर फर्स्ट 2 वीक्स में, क्या हुआ नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न स्टेट्स में, क्यों लोग अपोज कर रहे हैं AFSPA, everything is written in that article. I have discussed this in detail in multiple articles in my classes. If you were not there, please read the article that I've pasted. And then, of course, the most important news of this time became the death of our country's first CDS, General Bipin Rawat. All the newspapers were full of articles on his death. I've pasted 2 articles, one from Hindu, one from Indian Express. You have to read both of it. Yes, Nagaland, exactly. The Mon killings, correct. Mon district incident, ज़्यादा important हो गया था, जो December first 2 weeks में हुआ था. Yeah, it is still in news, Gulshan, but उतना हाई नहीं है जितना ट्रिगर तब हुआ था. करेक्ट, यू रिमेंबर दैट. चलो ऐसा करते हैं, आज कुछ जीके क्वेश्चंस पूछती फ्रॉम द आर्टिकल्स दैट आई हैव बॉट टू यू. ठीक है, apart from talking about the important editorial perspective, let me ask you some GK as well. Been a while that we haven't spoken about that. But उसके पहले, before I show you the articles, if you're targeting CLAT 23, comprehensive combo course has been launched. जल्दी से enroll कर लो. It's your dream course to get into an NLU. We shall see you in the classes. Also, we have flat 20% off going on all our online classroom programs. Use the code SUMMER20 and avail a 20% discount. Controlling the crypto genie. So, why genie? Because it is mysterious and it's hidden and it's miraculous, but it can destroy as well. So, cryptocurrencies and a control on them. Some countries started controlling it. Some countries were on the verge of controlling it, like India. This article talks about that. Go through it. Second one, understanding the virus. This was the time, December the first 2 weeks, when Omicron started making its mark. Not like the third wave in January, but it started telling people that, see, I'm coming. I'm slowly and gradually. No, not slowly. I'm spreading really fast. And South Africa started suffering during this tenure. So articles about the new variant started pouring in. I have completely missed out on taking those articles in today's session because ये by default important हो जाते हैं, because last year the entire paper was full of COVID. I have not pasted those articles in today's session because वो आपको anyway पढ़ने ही थे. And even if you've not read them, you need to know about the history of the virus, which I'm sure you are comfortable with. So, This talks about a little philosophical perspective of the virus. इसीलिए ये आर्टिकल पेस्ट किया है, so इसको पढ़ लेना डिटेल में, ठीक है? मैरिटल रेप इज इंपॉर्टेंट तनु, कल ही बहुत कुछ हो गया है इसमें, बिल्कुल इंपॉर्टेंट है ये, कल ही इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं हुआ, ये पिछले 6 मंथ से बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रह रहा है. सो तनु, मैरिटल रेप आई थिंक इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. Has the Delhi High Court given its final verdict on? No. बहुत chaos हो चुका है कल. Road to recovery. This is the article about the recovery of GDP. We were on a road to recovery. हम bottom से फिर we were rising up and we were about to reach the pre-COVID times of the GDP. बहुत अच्छी recovery हो रही थी हमारी, फिर आ गया, क्या आ गया? COVID. I don't know. Next article. Error of judgment. So the judgment by Allahabad High Court about the POCSO court and it was humongous and it was erratic. बहुत disturbing judgment था. Please read the judgment carefully क्योंकि इसके बाद there was a row of judgments that came in about the skin to skin and about the penetrative and oral and everything else. इसको detail में पढ़ लेना बिल्कुल. सब कुछ लिखा हुआ है इस article के अंदर. Okay. Ma'am, actually social media's metaverse I saw in revision class but couldn't find it in regular classes. Pragya, please find the date. जिस डेट पे वो आर्टिकल पब्लिश हुआ उसके 2 दिन बाद के मेरे क्लासेस देख लो, इट शुड बी देयर. ओके. यूक्रेन वॉर आ गया. You're too naive. The judicial pushback to a draconian legal regime. ये क्या draconian legal regime है ये? What is it talking about? किसको याद है ये? कौन बताएगा? What is it talking about? Huh? What is the issue here? What is the judicial pushback? What is the draconian legal regime? Which is draconian legal regime is it referring to? Yeah, yes, the UAPA and sedition laws. Correct. So ये वो time है जब Natasha Narwal, if I'm not wrong with the name, and some Kalita, some Kalita. So Natasha Narwal and Kalita, they were JNU students and they were arrested, and then they were later on let out on bail because they were protesting anti-CAA. और इसीलिए उनके अगेंस्ट यूएपीए स्लैप कर दिया था और बहुत बिग न्यूज हुआ था. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट वन मोर पर्सन वाज अरेस्टेड. जेएमआई का स्टूडेंट था, मुस्लिम, ही वाज अरेस्टेड and he was also slapped with the UAPA case. If you remember the names, you could tell me that. Yes, the sedition law, 152-year-old, exactly correct. The 124A, Article A, yes, of the IPC. So, इसीलिए it's a draconian legal regime, that's the UAPA, or it started making its headlines after the kids from JNU and then one kid from the JMI Islamia was arrested. I'll have to find the name of the kid who was arrested from JMI. I forgot his name. इसको पढ़ लेना, non-politically पढ़ना तो थोड़ा सा easy होगा समझना आप लोगों के लिए. A white touch to a refreshed green revolution. What is a white touch? You tell me. No, not Kanhaiya Kumar. नहीं बच्चे. JNU student तो Kalita and Devangana Kalita, if I'm not wrong. Yes, Devangana Kalita. Yes, and Natasha Narwal. These two. Okay. Yes, that's milk production. Now let me tell you a little bit of history about that. जामिया मिलिया इस्लामिया का स्टूडेंट का नेम मुझे याद नहीं, आप बाद में सर्च कर लेना जो भी था. So let me tell you a relationship here. White touch is the white revolution, and then we have the green revolution. Now the idea, why did it came into news? November अमूल के 100 years century celebrate हुई थी November end में, and then उसी टाइम पे हमारा ये फार्मर्स का जो रिवोल्ट था वो चल रहा था, ठीक है। सो ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन हमारे फार्मर्स के रिवोल्ट, एंड व्हाइट रेवोल्यूशन बिकॉज अमूल को 100 इयर्स हो गए थे। हु स्टार्टेड अमूल, नेम बताओ। Who's, yes, okay, Ishan, you already have that. Verghese Kurian is the name. Yes, so he started the Operation Flood. But there are a few things that you need to know here is that how are these two related? So these two are related because white revolution ka aim, like a common belief, is to increase milk production. No, that was not the aim for white revolution. The aim of white revolution was to provide livelihood to small farmers, an additional livelihood apart from farming. That was the aim of the white revolution. Amul per se, because वही हमारा protagonist था white revolution का, और because वो farmers को alternative, small farmers को alternative employment provide कर रहे थे, वो उससे directly green revolution से link हो गए थे. And that's exactly why this is an entire case study on the Amul model. बहुत beautifully explained है कैसे Amul model ने ensure किया that it goes hand in hand with the green revolution. Okay, so that's farm law important है कि नहीं? You need to know the law. Very likely इस पे कोई reading comprehension नहीं आएगा, ठीक है। सो ये केस स्टडी है अमूल मॉडल के बारे में कि कैसे इट एंश्योर्ड द ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन, रिफ्रेश ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन, पढ़ लेना इसके बारे में। नेक्स्ट वन, COP 27 जो इजिप्ट में होना है और कैसे वो फूड सिस्टम्स पे फोकस करता है। नाउ मुझे बताओ फूड सिस्टम्स, हाउ डज इट लिंक टू क्लाइमेट चेंज? हाउ? Who's going to tell me that? Yes, in Anand, Gujarat. Correct. How does the food systems link to the climate change? Or vice versa, how does the climate change link to the food systems? Bhavya, I'll do that again. First, let's do this one and then I'll go back. Yes, Ishan. Pesticides, okay. Food production, okay. So basically, yeah, yes. Exactly. पूजा, ये दोनों आप बिल्कुल करेक्ट बोल रहे हो. It's a give and take. Correct. So the climate changes and it destroys the crops. And ultimately, there is inequality in the society, there is lack of food in the society. So climate change impacts the crop production. Plus the kind of crops that we produce and the kind of techniques that we use. For example, the burning of the stubble burning, the parali burning. For example, that is one of the many things that we do that ultimately impacts the climate change as well. So it's a give and take. Crops and the methods we use, it impacts the climate, and the warmer the climate, the more the climate is changing, the more destructive it's going to be for the crops as well. So it's a balance that we need to make, and that was the major focus, that is supposed to be the major focus for COP 27. That's going to happen in Egypt. Okay, next one. Acha, let's go back. Somebody wanted to understand exactly the growing period depends upon climate variability. Or kharif season, kharif crops. ठीक है? अच्छा, somebody wanted me to explain the relationship between the white revolution and green revolution again. बच्चे देखो, green revolution was more of using methods that would ensure higher productivity. So usage of pesticides, insecticides, GMOs, genetically modified seeds, ये सब कुछ introduce हुआ green revolution में, that ensured higher output of farm produce. ठीक है? And then there was white revolution that ensured higher output of milk produce. But the aim of white revolution was not ensuring higher output of milk produce. It was to ensure our livelihood provided to small farmers, because small farmers बहुत सारी income नहीं generate कर सकते थे. Yes, high yielding variety seeds as well. So क्योंकि small farmers बहुत ज्यादा income नहीं generate कर सकते थे, could they depend upon any other alternate source of income? White revolution ensured that, apart from ensuring that they produced efficiently as well. Did you get the relationship, everyone? So it's a socio-economic enterprise, of course, because economic benefit to the small farmers and social upliftment of them as well. And it has immense potential still now for India's crop growing farmers, because this crop growing farmers can ensure more income through an increased white revolution. That's the entire relationship. The entire model is explained in this article. Okay? Yes. So let's look at the next article. Corridors of death. You remember 5 elephants? They were killed by a fast running train. I think 4 cows were also killed. And that tells us that we are in a man-animal conflict, that we are trying to take up their space, and that's why the cooperative societies, yes, and that's exactly why such accidents are happening. याद है ना? ये आर्टिकल मैंने लिया था, बहुत डिटेल में डिस्कस किया था हमने, क्यों कैसे हुआ ये चीज, इसको प्लीज डिटेल में पढ़ लेना. Okay, next article. All of these are from the Hindu. Need to reopen Anganwadis. This was December. The second wave had ended. We were ready to get back to schools, but Anganwadis were not opening up again. And the article focused on why it was necessary for the Anganwadis to open. We had taken many articles on why schools need to reopen. We also need to focus on Anganwadis and their reopening, and why early childhood services were important. So I hope you know what Anganwadis are. I'll not explain that to you. Pad lena. Hypersonic weapons. This article talks about how hypersonic weapons are different from the normal traditional weapons, and what is this new technology and what will this ensure. So read about how hypersonic weapons, and specifically these hypersonic weapons came into news after the Israel and ये एलिफेंट्स वाला याद नहीं आ रहा. अली 5 एलिफेंट्स रेलवे ट्रैक क्रॉस कर रहे थे. इसको पढ़ लेना. ओके, collision with the train happened. Yeah. So back to it. Israel and Palestine की जब लड़ाई लास्ट हुई थी, I mean there are many fights that have happened between Palestine and Israel, but the last one used a lot of hypersonic weapons. We saw many videos surfacing online. इसको पढ़ लेना. Yeah. So next one, and the impunity. This article talks in detail about AFSPA, which happened. No, it did not happen. It was in an uproar during the first 2 weeks of December. तो इसको पढ़ लेना. ठीक है. Basking in reflected glory. Yes. So this article talks about brain drain. What is reflected glory? Indians go out, they make names, they take up the topmost positions in the best of the organizations throughout the world, and we bask in their reflected glory. But that's ultimately brain drain, and it's concerning for India. So ये article है जरूरी, पढ़ लेना इसको. ठीक है, बहुत अच्छे पर्सपेक्टिव के साथ है ये आर्टिकल एक्चुअली. आगे देखते हैं. Yes, Ragini. Basically the articles wouldn't be. This PDF will be available under my video. You have to search for them. Yes, how people study in India and they go abroad. Yes, this talks about the brain drain. And if I've taken most of these articles, so if you would, most of these, not all, if you would want to watch a detailed discussion on them, you could watch my videos from December 1st to December 15th. The way to tackle malnutrition. Now, क्योंकि कोविड ऑल टाइम लो पे था December 1st 2 weeks में, इंडिया में एटलीस्ट, this talks about how malnutrition needs to be dealt with specifically during the pandemic that's going on. इसको मुझे कुछ बताने का need नहीं है इसके बारे में. It's a generic one. Global and Indian trends in inequality. Now see, a World Inequality Report and how this inequality in terms of income, in terms of food availability, and that is not specifically in India, that's visible throughout the world. So this article talks about the World Inequality Report that came out that shows inequalities persistent throughout the world. ये article उसके बारे में. Yes, exactly, Anushka. That's exactly why this article came to the fore. Next one is a tragic loss of General Bipin Rawat, the first CDS of our country. एक और article मैंने paste किया है from the Indian Express. दोनों में से कोई भी एक article पढ़ लेना. I'm sure you know in and out of the case. ये GK perspective से भी supremely important हो जाता है. तो read that. ठीक है? Just a minute. Next one. Children and schooling in the post-COVID-19 era, that is, the schools need to open, the schools, there's a lag in the education, the students are disturbed. ऐसे thousands of articles, millions of articles publish हो चुके हैं. आप थोड़ा सा पढ़ के इनको have a fair idea of what the situation was. Now, this is an important one. Okay, let's see. The OTT proliferation. Now, after the first lockdown, OTT became the hype. But something else happened by November. And that made OTT a very interesting topic. What happened? Do you remember that? ज्योति, आप क्लास के एंड में ये क्लास का पीडीएफ डाउनलोड करना, कॉपी पेस्ट करना सेम लाइन गूगल यूआरएल पे, आपको वो आर्टिकल अवेलेबल हो जाएगा. व्हाट इज ओटीटी? Amazon, नेटफ्लिक्स, Amazon प्राइम, सॉरी, Amazon प्राइम, और कौन कौन से हैं ये? हॉटस्टार. नहीं, you don't remember क्या हुआ था. You guys don't remember that. OTT streaming vernacular programs. Vernacular language. एक अलग सेक्शन निकाल दिया सबने. मराठी, तेलुगु, कन्नड़, बंगाली. ये, and you could take a subscription only for the vernacular languages, जिसका subscription 50-60% cheaper होगा overall से. That's why it became very, very popular into the news. Yes, correct. So, याद आया सबको vernacular language में कैसे publish होने लग गए थे? बहुत सारे series, बहुत सारे channels post करने लग गए थे. And then of course, yes, derogatory scenes or lines or तांडव, बहुत सारी चीजें हैं, ये छोटी छोटी चीजें. But proliferation, मैं proliferation की बात कर रही हूँ बच्चे. Not because why OTT was in news. Why did the proliferation happen? Increasing in the viewership because of the vernacular languages and local languages में series publish करना. Okay, so that led to the proliferation. Make the mental well-being of teachers a priority. That's a breath of fresh air. क्योंकि अभी तक हम स्टूडेंट्स की मेंटल वेलबींग की बात कर रहे थे, यहाँ भैया टीचर्स की मेंटल वेलबींग भी तो होती है कुछ, which is necessary. तो कैसे you just don't need to focus on your own mental well-being, but the teacher's mental well-being is equally important. Have you guys ever thought, would it be disturbing for us? Well, we come live every day on YouTube and we sometimes get very rude, insensitive, sexually exploiting, and many other kinds of messages. Does it actually hamper our mental well-being? Did it ever do? Yes, it did. it is very, very, very disturbing. Yeah. So the jokes apart कि हमारी mental well-being भी कोई सोचो, it's actually very, very disturbing. Yes. And I don't know what high students get from. So this article is certainly not about we coming live on YouTube. This article is about the government teachers. And yes, Anushka. And they have to multitask and they are burdened with a lot of things. So this talks about their mental well-being rather than over pressurizing them. Next one. This is a very good one. Let me tell you a little background about this article. Natural or socialized? I am a woman. I decide to do something. I decide to make a career choice. I decide to take any decision in my life. If that decision is different from a man, does that come naturally to my gender or is that socialized? You would love reading this article. Yes, that's cyberbullying. Yes, Shreya, and I'll tell you how. Initially, everybody is very disturbed. A lot of us ended the class then and there because we couldn't focus on anything because it was so disturbing. And then we thought, okay, we kept telling ourselves that we're doing good work and there are so many students watching us and there are so many students learning from us. So we have to give a XYZ to people using such language. So this back from the government teachers and the teachers' mental well-being, is it natural or is it socialized? More people participating and why army didn't allow women to enter army. ये सब उसके बारे में बात कर रहा है. आपका decision making कैसे as a woman different हो सकता है from a man, vice versa, and will it be a natural one or will it be a socialized one? बहुत अच्छा आर्टिकल है इसको. The preferences can be gender specific or it could be actually imposed by the society as a role that you're taking up. A woman would actually, देखो एक simple example है इसका. When a couple has a child, the woman decides to leave the job, not the man, because somebody has to take care of the child. If at all one has to leave the job. Why is it not the other way around? Is it socialized or is it naturally coming to a woman? So, ये article उसके बारे में. Next one. But before that, CLAT 22 target कर रहे हो, batch 3 for the crash course has been launched. जल्दी से enroll कर लो. And we have a mega workshop happening on our app on 14th of May, 4 p.m. where Nivedita ma'am is going to be taking a topic, how to ace legal reasoning for CLAT 2023. Miss नहीं करना है, register कर लो जल्दी से. Only then you can view this workshop. Let's take some articles from the Indian Express. Person of the year कौन होगा? December end आ गया है. Person of the year is a very funny article. We're actually not talking about genuinely the person of the year because बहुत सारे लोग हो सकते हैं जो popular हो गए थे throughout the year. So it's a very funny one. Okay, तो इंडियन एक्सप्रेस sarcastic बहुत अच्छा आर्टिकल. एक और sarcastic आर्टिकल है. आपको याद है मैंने एक आर्टिकल लिया था मैराडोना की वॉच चोरी हो गई थी दुबई के होटल से. कहां मिली? आसाम के गांव में. और इमेजिन उसको पता भी नहीं होगा कि ये मैराडोना की वॉच है शायद. जो भी स्टोरी थी, आई विल नॉट टेल यू द सीक्रेट अबाउट दैट. पढ़ना, इट्स अ सस्पेंस एंड इट्स सो फनी. यू विल लव रीडिंग दिस आर्टिकल. छोटा सा क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग पैसेज बन सकता है एक्चुअली. सो द नेक्स्ट वन, एलॉन मस्क को बता रहे हो आप पर्सन ऑफ द ईयर. ये अलग ट्रैजेक्टरी पे पढ़ लेना इसको. द नेक्स्ट वन, पैंडेमिक हैज वर्सेंड inequality in India. I will not tell you anything about that. Of course, the inequality has worsened. We have discussed it thousands of times. Read it on your own. Despite risks, there's a greater potential for cryptocurrencies. This article talks about the positive aspects of cryptocurrency. याद है सबको वॉच वाला आर्टिकल? Yes, give me a second, everyone. Give me a second, everyone. So this article talks about the positive aspect of cryptocurrency and how can it be dealt with positively. How to register for workshop? Video team, could you please help these people? They're asking how to register for the workshop. Okay, please help these people. आओ चाय पे बैठते हैं. You can. हमारे कंट्री में ये इतना पॉपुलर स्टेटमेंट है, चाय पे बुलाते हैं. कुछ नहीं तो बाहर थड़ी पे चलते चाय शेयर करते हैं. You would not even care जिसके साथ आप चाय शेयर कर रहे हो उसका कास्ट क्या है, उसका रिलीजन क्या है ना? So this article talks about how a shared meal can be social glue that unites diverse groups and individuals in a protest. So cups of chai, example. Midday meals, another example. Many examples of how a shared meal can ensure that we come together in the times of hatred, in the times of protests जो हमारे पूरे country में हो रहे थे UAPA को लेके. Very nice article. Yeah, चाय पे चर्चा. Yeah. Yes, Gulshan, you're right. Push against toxic masculinity. So feminist है article बिल्कुल, and there's a very popular author who comes up in Indian Express, writes a lot on feminism. And आपको पता है ये आर्टिकल्स आपके लिए पढ़ना जरूरी है. इसको पढ़ लेना कि कैसे मैस्कुलिनिटी टॉक्सिक हो जाती है और उसको न्यूट्रलाइज करना जरूरी है. Fears of numbers, letters and other irrational phobias. Irrational, बहुत सारे phobias के नाम, बड़े बड़े नाम आए थे इस आर्टिकल में. And बहुत interesting article है ये. It talks about how there are some irrational phobias that will not make sense to you because you are not scared of it. But it may be irrational to you. But for those people who suffer from that phobia, it's not irrational to them. So, exactly, Pooja. That's the point. That's the point. Okay. So this is the one. Next one. So this was the time when India's first woman psychiatrist, Sarda Menon, passed away. And this article talks about her contribution to Indian society, how she ensured self-care, therapy, and how therapy was no longer a taboo because while she was working, therapy itna popular nahi tha. Therapy became more popular in the last 2-3 years only, rather 2 years. After Sushant Singh Rajput died and after the COVID hit us, therapy was okay. But उसके पहले, आज से 30 साल पहले अगर आप देखोगे, 20 साल पहले आप देखोगे, therapy was uncommon. कोई बच्चा अगर आई कांटेक्ट नहीं करता था या बात नहीं करता तो people से कोई बात नहीं, स्कूल भेज तो सीख जाएगा. But then they never realized the child could be autistic or maybe hyperactive or XYZ, any other problem. So psychiatry became popular only and only after her indulgence. It celebrates her life. इसको अच्छे से पढ़ना article को. The next one. I had taken this article. Do you remember this? Mayur, you have a point, my child. Do you remember this article? How many of you remember this? By the time people answer this, have you liked my video? If you haven't, do that please. And please share it. ये तो share कर दो यार, ये तो important है. Tell everyone these are the important articles you need to read. Pooja, that's true. याद है ये article? This was a very good one. So कुछ भी कोट लगा देंगे, बुद्धा की पिक्चर लगा देंगे, नीचे बुद्धा लिख देंगे. नहीं तो उसके नीचे बुद्धा से भी ज्यादा ना कोई एक और पर्सन पॉपुलर है. टी शर्ट पे उसकी फोटोज प्रिंटेड होती है, हर कोट में नीचे उसका नाम लिखा होता है. Who am I referring to? His name links to a very popular book he wrote. He wrote a very popular book and then revolution as well after that. Einstein का नाम लिख देते हैं. Exactly. But who am I referring to? टी शर्ट पे उसकी फोटोज होती है, पता भी नहीं लोगों को वो कौन है. हर कोट में नाम. नहीं शेक्सपियर नहीं, ना नहीं डिकैप्रियो नहीं. No guesses. चाणक्य का भी बहुत नाम लिखा होता है. Exactly. चाणक्य का भी बहुत नाम. चलो, I'll take you to the next article. By the time more people come up with suggestions, आपको बताऊंगी मैं किसकी बात कर रही हूँ. आप गोवा जाओगे ना तो मोस्टली उसकी ही पिक्चर्स प्रिंटेड होंगी, कैप पहन के. एक बहुत पॉपुलर बुक लिखी थी, याद आ रहा है किसी को? चाणक्य? नो. चलो, I'll see if you remember this or not. Next देखते हैं. अच्छा, by the way, why is this article a good one? It says everything on internet is either misinformation or is rigged. Don't believe everything you write. बुद्धा ने भी एक बार ऐसे ही बोला था. बुद्धा ने नहीं बोला था ऐसा. It's only sarcasm. Okay. Next one. Yes. So gender neutral pronoun. So French में there's one pronoun for a woman and there's one pronoun for a man, but then they created a pronoun which was a mixture of both of them, which was gender neutral. We also need one of such gender neutral pronouns. So it's it talks about the LGBTQ. Okay. And yeah, I was speaking about Che Guevara. Modi ji, no, I was talking about Che Guevara. आप शायद आपको पता भी नहीं होगा. How does he look like? Long hair, wavy hair, cap पहन के sometimes. The Motorcycle Diaries. Yes, Siddhan, I was talking about Che Guevara. हर कहीं लिख देते नाम Che Guevara उसका end में. So it was that. और आपको पता भी नहीं होगा कि क्या book थी, क्या हुआ था, but people would rock a t-shirt with his picture because he looks so cool. This article talks about LGBTQ and how a gender neutral pronoun is needed. Although France में debate है कि वो gender neutral pronoun use करना चाहिए कि नहीं, because French are so proud of their own language, they don't want any changes. So they say, we don't need this gender neutral pronoun. Keep it to yourself. We need only one for a woman and one for a man. That's all. So people are arguing we don't need this gender pronoun, neutral pronoun. And then there are promoters of LGBTQ who think we need this. So that's about that. Okay. Next one. Schools are not immune to prejudice of the society. Okay. True. Okay. So the next one. Simple. This needs no explanation. So there's a lot of prejudice in the society and the schools aren't aware. You would see that in schools as well. So I've been dealing with school kids for almost all my life now, and we could see that inside schools as well. Read this. The Guardian's view on ash dieback. Acha, ye article dekho. This article is from the Guardian. Ash trees. That's a variety of tree, almost on the verge of extinction. Guardian talks about that. So views on ash dieback, a tiny chink of hope, how we can save the ash trees in the British landscape. बहुत environment related article है, पढ़ लेना इसको. They have their own third world problem, Shreya. Next, not the third, the first world. The Guardian's view on homelessness. During the pandemic, a lot of people became homeless. They were given hotels in the Western countries. But कब तक होटल दे दोगे उनको? They still are insecure and we have to ensure that they have their own security. Completely Western country के perspective से, but reading comprehension तो बन ही सकता है. जरूरी नहीं हमको Indian perspective से एक article आए. So उनको hotels दिया, but the pandemic ended, they became homeless again. So we need to ensure that they have a livelihood. This article talks about that. And the last article from the Guardian is the WTO talks. कैसे it came into news. 1990 globalization, privatization. क्यों हुआ? To ensure that people aren't poor anymore, to increase the average income of the households. It didn't ensure the poor became rich. We need to have a relook at that. That's what the WTO says. That poor countries remained poor. The globalization, privatization of 1990s didn't help the poor countries. It helped only the richest ones who became more rich. That's what WTO said. And it raises serious concerns for backers of globalization. कि globalization क्या अभी भी जरूरी है? क्या कर रहे हो तुम poor country के लिए? There's no globalization for poor countries. That's what it is. Thank you so much, everyone. I have 10 more minutes for your questions today now. I'm sharing the Hindu and Indian Express in the background. Today's Hindu and Indian Express. We'll see what are the important articles. If you haven't downloaded the app yet, please download that right now. बिल्कुल मयूर सारे पढ़ लेना है. एंड मैंने आपको ब्रीफ ऑलमोस्ट सबका बता दिया, तो आप स्किम करके पढ़ लेना. दैट शुड बी इनफ फॉर यू. शेयरिंग टुडेस हिंदू एंड इंडियन एक्सप्रेस इन द बैकग्राउंड, माय चिल्ड्रन. Hindu अच्छा, अब मेरे से क्वेश्चंस पूछो. Who wanted questions about मैम ये नहीं हो रहा है, वो नहीं हो रहा है? कितने लोग अभी भी अवेलेबल है? I'll see. Half of you must have already left. Yeah, here we go. Here it is. May 13th. Yeah, correct. The BYJU'S Exam Prep app. Krishna, ma'am, can we have class on tone of the author? Shridhan, I have 3 classes on tone of the author. Just search for my name on YouTube search bar, Alpa Sharma, tone of the author. You'll find 3 classes made, 4 classes made by me. They should be enough for you. Okay. Critical reasoning session. Harsh, we have the last lap to CLAT starting very, very soon. I'll be taking 4 sessions there. I'll try to take a CR session. Yes, Jyoti. Ma'am, I'm a 23. E3 ke paas hai, so I'm assuming 3 aspirants. So need to solve word power means. Of course, yes, Pooja. Ma'am, should we first go for reading question or the passage first? Now, usually I say look at the questions, the difficulty level, and then accordingly read the passage. Not reading every option though. Vaishnavi, reading more mindfully, more carefully, and practicing more. In a nutshell, if you ask me in one line. Preeti, they've become few. Sometimes they happen on the app, not on YouTube. Web of time-bound practice and skimming. Why are you nervous, Shrishti? Beta, nervousness will not score you anything. मयूर, पढ़ते रहो, बंद मत करना. रीडिंग हैबिट बंद हो जाएगी. Pooja, we've reduced the number of classes because we are focusing more on CLAT 22. That's why all of us are taking limited number of classes. Pooja, Ragini, I have a class today at 5 p.m. Instead of 12:30, it's at 5 p.m. on the BBA platform. Tanu, I have a class on passages and grammar today at 5 p.m. on the BBA YouTube channel. You can find me there. Yes, Shrishti, you found that name. Bhavya, you just need to skim through it so that you have a fair idea of what was going on. So that if it gets repeated, you understand the background of it. Okay, Shreya. Okay, now have a look. Ma'am, I'm unable to complete AILET paper on time. What to do? But why, my child? Purva, do something. Send me the bifurcation. What subject do you take first in AILET and how much time do you give to each section? Send me that bifurcation in the Telegram chat. I'll reply to you there. भाई मुझे लग रहा आज ना एक I will not say that वो हर बार cancel हो जाता है. I'll not take the name of. I'll send you the link. Let's look at today's newspaper. Importance of consent. Okay, so marital rape being in news again. पढ़ लेना. Rise of the sun. इसको skim कर लेना. Okay. With delimitation over, a look at the slate of J&K. Skim. India needs a credible count of its COVID toll. Skim. बहुत important कुछ भी नहीं है. Did the RBI wait too long to raise interest rate? भाई. Skim. Text. Skim. This is good. This is very good. Please read this. And context. No, none. I think only one article is good here. Okay. Let's look at the Indian Express as well. Nepal, Sri Lanka economies skim. See, this is such a good article. Please read this. Inflation of the 8-year high. Where are we going to go? What are we going to do? I don't know. Listen to another Narendra. Leave this article, everyone. Why the sedition law must go? Wapas aa gaya dekho news mein. I don't think anything else is important here. Okay. Aditi, just YouTube search bar mein search kar lo BYJU'S Exam Prep BBA. You find the channel. Okay. Okay, guys. So winding up the class. I shall see you soon. Austria, I shall see you in the meet. I'll share a link today. Bye, everyone. Have a very, very good day. God bless you.